Hello and welcome to the full story of the Fighters Guild in Oblivion, a tale of a failing family's attempt to revitalise Cyrodiil's flailing Fighters Guild as we the player rise through its ranks, contending with a cutthroat rival faction and explore their dirty secrets along the way. But first, it's probably prudent to ask and answer, what is the Fighters Guild and how does one even join its ranks? Plus, a rare treat for players is the little known and I dare say idiotic way to be permanently banned from the guild in the game.
That the best you can do?
Starting off with a brief history of the faction, found in the book History of the Fighters Guild. The Fighters Guild was formed to combat rising crime rates across the lands. It was originally intended to be a guild for Akaviri races only, but since there were not enough of them to keep order, it was opened to non-Akaviri members as well. Guild halls then became established in most cities at the start of the Third Era in Cyrodiil, thanks to the influence of Uriel I, and now the guild can take on a contract from any citizen how to join the Fighters Guild. To do so, we'll learn. When resting from our travels around Cyrodiil, we can hear rumours of the famed Fighters Guild being one of 5 main guild factions available to the player, and, for budding adventurers, the allure of joining, as various NPCs will comment.
The Fighters Guild is recruiting again. Not a bad way to make some money, if you've got the stones for it.
There's more gold in arena fighting, sure. But contracting with the guild is safer and more respectable.
Anyone looking for work should consider the Fighters Guild. I hear they're always looking for recruits.
To further entice you to join, the developers created the publication A New Guild for Fighters, which can be found with any newspaper courier and is widely available around Cyrodiil, reading:
The Fighters Guild has been an institution in Tamriel for as long as most anyone can remember. These brave men and women have, for countless years, always been available to do those jobs that the average citizen is simply not qualified to handle. Whether it be ridding a homeowner of a plague of rats or rescuing a wayward scholar, the Fighters Guild has always been available for anyone with enough coin to pay their modest fees. Now, however, it seems that the Fighters Guild is not the only game in town. A new group has recently been making a lot of waves in Cyrodiil. They call themselves the Blackwood Company, and they've let it be known that they'll handle any job that the Fighters Guild will, and many that they won't. While the Fighters Guild has always maintained the strictest standards on both the quality of their members and the legality of the contracts they accept, the Blackwood Company makes none of the same claims. They have no screening process when accepting new members, and they seem willing to accept any contract, assuming one can afford the price tag. Some have questioned the Blackwood Company's methods. They are rumored to be reckless and indiscriminate. Many have spoken of needless damage to person and property during the fulfillment of a contract. None of those we spoke to were willing to go on the record for this article. What the future holds for this upstart group remains to be seen. Are they the perfect solution for a quickly changing world? Will their methods force the Fighters Guild to adopt more lenient business practices? Only time will tell. Until then, if you need a job done, and the Fighters Guild won't do it, check with your local Blackwood Company.
We also hear further rumours of this troublesome competitor being the Blackwood Company that has mysteriously popped up in Leyawen.
I understand that the Blackwood Company works cheaper than the Fighters Guild, and they'll do any job. Rumor has it that the Fighters Guild is losing members to the Blackwood Company.
If we were inclined instead to throw our lot in with this new upstart, we can find the purportedly dubious Blackwood Company's headquarters in the swampy city of Leyawen, a stone's throw, no less, from the Fighters Guild Hall, marked by an emblem of 2 weapons crossed over a large tree. When entering the establishment and looking for work, our presence is tolerated. However, we're never offered to join the ranks of the many beast folk that inhabit the stone fortress. Nor are we allowed to explore the guild hall fully, as an Argonian guard stands firmly between us and the Blackwood basement. Later, though, we shall explore the validity of the scurrilous rumours aimed against the clandestine Blackwood Company, and how, if at all it's possible, an Imperial such as ourselves would ever be permitted to join their ranks during the Fighters Guild questline as the story continues.
It's you. Hi.
For now, we instead head to the Fighters Guild Hall across the street. It should be noted, the guild halls themselves are usually constructed in the aesthetic of the local town. However, they are always multi-story dwellings, presumably to house their large forces, and are easy to spot street-side thanks to the red banner with a blade on it, and sign bearing 2 crossed swords behind a shield mounted on an almost homemade-looking wooden sign hanging above the entrance, perhaps to let prospective members know the Fighters Guild is in the business of killing and gold, not wasted on superfluous signage. Entering the large door, we're met inside by a host of current guild members looking to hone their martial skills and, of course, make some coin. When chatting between themselves, we can overhear.
You heard about any new contracts? They'd tell us, wouldn't they? Was Vigdis our most recent recruit? Or Lindsay Lorum? It's been so long, I forgot. I guess I could have been an adventurer, but I like sleeping in a bed.
Clearly, this Blackwood Company is an ever-growing threat to the Fighters Guild's standing, though joining the guild does possess its own perks such as free bed to sleep in, skill trainers that will not provide training unless you're a member, and, upon joining, almost any item found in the guild is yours for the taking without penalty. However, before we are deterred, we then see a friendly guild porter dressed in a remarkably generic heavy steel armor plate set, versus their aforementioned rival, who greets.
Hail! We're looking for recruits. Interested?
Sure. How would I go about joining?
If you're interested, see Velena Daunton in Coral, or Azan in Anvil, or Burrs Grokash in Shadenhall.
Following the porter's directions, although there are Fighters Guild halls in every city except Kavach and the Imperial City,
Be seeing you.
we find indeed we can only sign up in 3 locales. Either in Anvil, where once inside the head of the chapter, the Red Guard Azan greets.
What have we here? I'm Azan, head of the Anvil Fighters Guild chapter, and advanced blunt weapons trainer.
Why do you recommend joining?
I love being in the guild. There's money to be made. If you'd like to join up, let me know. Training, beds, and good hard work. Can't beat it.
Or Chadenhall, where we can talk to its Orc Guardian, Bursgrove Cash, who questions.
Looking for action? Think about the Fighters Guild. What do you want, a job? If you want it from me, you'll have to join the Fighters Guild. Not that I'm sure you can cut it.
Why do you recommend the Fighters Guild?
I love being in the guild. There's money to be made. If you'd like to join up, let me know.
Or Coral, where we find ourselves at the guild's headquarters, and the stern Breton and guildmaster, Velena Daunton, acknowledges us from behind her desk.
Go ahead, I'm listening. Velena Daunton, Master of the Fighters Guild. Please excuse the mess. Paperwork. But what can I do for you?
I was looking to learn more about the Fighters Guild, as I'm thinking of joining.
The Fighters Guild is a brotherhood of warriors. We provide a service to Tamriel, lending steel and shield to those who need our help. Whether that means ridding a town of an invading menace or protecting a helpless mage, we'll take the contract.
If we then state, I wish to join the Fighters Guild, Daunton then warns.
The Fighters Guild is always looking for new members. If you've got a clean record and don't have a bounty on your head, we may be able to use you. Are you interested in joining?
As warned, if we attempt to join the Fighters Guild with a bounty, she'll simply state.
I appreciate your enthusiasm, but you've got a bit of a bad reputation. Make a better name for yourself and perhaps we can accept your application.
And it's worth noting, it is also a good idea to join the Fighters Guild early in the game if you plan to play an evil character, because they do not allow characters with infamy scores over 100 to join unless you have a fame score over 100 as well, as attempting to join with high infamy, Velena admits.
We appreciate your interest, but I understand you've got a bounty on your head. Take care of that and we'll consider your application.
However, if with a clean record and pep in our step we tell Velena, "Sign me up," she says.
Excellent. You are now an associate in the Fighters Guild. You should report to either Azan in Anvil or Burz Grokash in Shadenel for contracts.
Before departing, we inquire, "By the way, is there any chance of advancement in the guild?"
You will advance through the ranks of the Fighters Guild when you have proven your merit. As you complete contracts and fulfill your duties, you'll be promoted to the next station, accepting the associated duties and responsibilities. Be aware, though, that your rank can be stripped for failure to uphold the tenets of the Guild or at my discretion. Just do your job.
So now that we're part of the coveted Fighters Guild, before we look at ways to get paid promised contracts and advancement, we shall instead first look at getting ourselves banned for life as promised at the start of the video. Now, there are 3 distinct ways we can get kicked out of the Fighters Guild, with the cost to our reputation and punishment escalating each time.
Hello.
The first is to be caught stealing from another guild member, after which we'll be immediately and forcefully ejected from the guild premises. Upon re-entry, no member will speak to us except angrily guide, as Dark Elf champion Modron Orion spits.
It's you. Hi. You've stolen from the Fighters Guild. Go speak with Velena Danton. None of your brothers will deal with you until you atone for your actions.
Speaking to Velena, she then turns to us disappointedly, questioning.
You would steal from your brothers? If you had a need for something, why would you not just ask? I will give you a chance, though. As it is only your first offence, do not return until you have collected 20 bear pelts. Use this time to reflect on your actions.
Trying to negotiate, she dismisses.
You've been told what you must do in order to regain your standing, and you've not yet done it. Don't return until you have 20 bear pelts.
We now must procure a hefty 20 bear pelts, but there is a catch. The weaker black bears appear randomly, only starting at level 9 in most places or level 7 along the roads, though many general merchants also have an infinite supply of bear pelts, therefore making them easier to source through commerce. After completing the arduous task of collecting 20 pelts, we can then speak to a waiting Velena who appraises.
So, you've collected the pelts. I trust you've learned a lesson. Your rank is restored along with all rights and responsibilities.
2. Danton, prematurely assessing we have learned our lesson, then witnesses us maim a local porter for getting in our face.
I'm being attacked! I fought mud crabs more fearsome than you.
That the best you can do?
Committing the second more heinous crime, we're once again ejected from the hall, and upon returning, the guild's champion Modron Orion then hisses.
You've committed yet another crime against your Fighters Guild brothers. Go speak with Danton. Until then, goodbye.
Entering her office, Velena flatly assesses.
First a theft and now a murder. Your crimes are escalating. You have one final chance. Go out and collect the horns of 20 minotaurs. If you succeed, perhaps you'll have learned something in that time. If you fail, perhaps you'll be dead and no longer our problem. Now go.
Attempting to speak to Danton about these horns, she spins on us, saying,
Don't speak to me again unless you've gotten 20 minotaur horns. Then perhaps we'll have something to discuss.
In order to get back into the guild a second time, we'll need 20 minotaur horns. Minotaur horns are somewhat harder to find or buy, and like bear pelts are somewhat level-gated. You can get them from killing minotaurs in the wild, beginning at level 12 as bosses or 14 as general enemies, and you can also fight them in the arena after becoming Grand Champion. Returning to the Guildmaster, finally, after collecting 20 horns, would then net.
You've brought back the horns. Your rank and responsibilities are restored. There will be no further chances given you.
So, what is the third and final way to get expelled for good? Well, if we're not a stellar human being or guild member, and enraged enough, we can decide to beat our horse to death to let out some anger. I know it's reprehensible and the guild thinks so as well. As we'd stumble upon the fact, killing your horse is a bannable offence. Returning to the hall, Modern Orion then jeers.
What hole did you crawl out of? None in the Fighters Guild will speak with you again. We have no desire to consort with common criminals.
Despite the caution, we ascend the stairs to Velena Donton's office, a final time to be cast out.
Why do you bother me? Go away. By your crimes, you have been permanently expelled from the Fighters Guild. You have no further chance to atone for your actions. All guild members have been instructed to deny you service, shelter, and assistance. From now until your death, you do not exist in our eyes.
Upon exiting, we note in our journal, because of my crimes against the Fighters Guild, I've been permanently expelled. A sad state of affairs, though it's nice to say Oblivion is still not afraid
Leave me alone!
to kick you out of a guild. Having said that, we shall explore in the next episode, seeing as we've just gone through how to join and to be kicked out, and rise through the Fighters Guild ranks as we begin to take on contracts to aid the citizens of Cyrodiil, as the full story of the Fighters Guild continues.